Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Let's Play Shadow of the Colossus. Last time we took down the first of 16 Colossi, Valus the Minotaur. Today we're going after the next two. Alright, so our next target is going to be a slow-moving beast residing in a seaside cave. So we'll go ahead and call aggro, and we will make our way towards the second Colossus. This one is going to be located directly behind the shrine. It's also, I think, the closest one to the shrine, not including some looping around you have to do. These shrines are a new feature we've just been introduced to. They allow Wander to pray at them, and when you pray at a shrine, you can save your game, which is not really handy right here, but there are 25 shrines scattered around, and if you wanted to just do some general exploration of the world and maybe find some lizards and some fruits, they help to allow you to just save your progress out in the middle of the world instead of having to wait to kill a Colossus. There's also one more handy feature of the shrines, and it's that there's usually, I think it might be always, a white-tailed lizard located on or near a shrine. In the case of that shrine, I want to say that the nearby white-tailed lizard is actually the one on the ceiling inside the temple. There could be another one closer by. I'm actually not super familiar with the locations of many of the fruits and the lizards and the shrines and all that stuff. Normally it doesn't factor too heavily in. You do get a very slight grip gauge upgrade for each Colossus that you kill, so as far as scaling up the difficulty for the later Colossi and being prepared for them, it's not too big of a deal if you don't get all of the collectibles. Obviously, they give you a bigger margin for error, and we hear some rumbling coming from this cave down here, which is going to be the location for our second Colossus boss fight. Real quick, I don't think that I brought this up last time, but since I am playing on the HD re-release, the PS3 version of Shadow of the Colossus, figured I'd just take a second and talk about some of the features of the update. So obviously it adds, I think it adds stereoscopic 3D support, it adds some depth of field stuff, it supports a higher resolution, obviously a widescreen fix. The big thing they fixed, though, the most important thing I think about the HD collection of Ico and Shadow of the Colossus, they fixed the game's incredibly janky frame rate from the PS2 days. And they locked it at a nice smooth 30 frames per second. If you remember back during the PS2 days, Shadow of the Colossus's performance was really, really rough. Also, the HD collection has a bunch of stuff that used to only be in the Japanese and European version. That is for Ico. So this is Quadratus, the Bull Colossus. This is the first of only a few Colossus fights that we can actually do from horseback. This is one of the few fights that aggro is actually going to be able to get involved in. He is not exactly going to play a huge role in this fight, though. So we're just going to slow aggro down and wait for the bull to rear up. And you can see he has a weak point. He has a weak point on the underside of its hooves. If you shoot that spot with an arrow, he will come tumbling down, and this is what will allow you to get up on him and scale him. Unlike the Minotaur, this is the first Colossus that sports multiple major weak points, meaning we are going to have to stab him in multiple locations to finish this fight off. So first we'll climb up here. I always love that little roll and tumble. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Ooh, almost went off the edge. Oh man. Even though you're up here and you're tumbling around and you're losing your balance and you're not getting a chance to make much forward progress, I still love it because it feels so good. At first it seems really clumsy because Wander is this really detailed behavior and these really detailed animations and reactions and stuff. Like, he loses his balance, he tumbles around. It can be clumsy and awkward to control Wander during these climbing sequences, but if you really look and you really like gain an appreciation for it, it brings you into the game. At first, it feels like the controls are just terrible, and they're like this barrier between you and the game. But the more you play and acclimate to it, the more it becomes like the most immersive thing ever. The craft in this game is so tangible, so careful. Oh, and we will stab him in his first weak point here on his butt. And I believe this should last him until he's at about half health, and then we can loop around, run around on his back. Oh, run around on his back towards his head. Yeah, that should be about it for that. Oh, I'm losing my grip. Okay, and we'll start heading towards his head. Man, this is such a beautifully crafted game. Like, Ico, Wander, sorry, behaves and moves in a way that really feels fluid and dynamic and real. Like, he doesn't, once you get a good grip on, he doesn't just stay static. Like, he's glued to the back of this giant towering Colossus. That's why I say when all the tumbling around, it gives it a greater dramatic effect, and it's for the first hour or two of a new playthrough, of a fresh first playthrough, it feels like it's taking you out of the game, but you gain this appreciation for it over time. That, oh, look at him just sway around like this. Oh god, I love this game so much. Alright, we'll get a couple good shots into his brain, and we will once again fell another, I would say, pretty noble creature again. They aren't outright attacking us. Also, I like the little detail that you can see whenever it takes a hit, its eyes change color. When it's passive, its eyes are that kind of soft bluish green, and then when it gets hit, it starts trying to shake you off aggressively. Its eyes change color. That's also true for when a Colossus first becomes aggressive towards you. You'll see that for some of the later Colossus. It's hard to notice with this one. But yeah, most of them are not going to start off on offense against you. You have to provoke them first. Yeah. Oh man, I love swaying around like this. It gives... Oh man, it makes you feel how tiny and frail and just human Wander is. He has some fairly sophisticated physics attached to him. The entire game does, for that matter. And it's one of those cases where... Whoa, wait a minute, what's going on here? Oh, I'm gonna lose my grip too. Oh shit, this is bad. I might be able to just clutch this out. Oh shit, I don't... Oh, I see. I wasn't paying enough attention and I... Oop. And I thought I had his, the weak point on his ass completely, drained. Thought I had stabbed it just enough. Whoops. It was a little bit premature. Oh, man. Oh, it's so good. Like, this game is such a perfect blend of artistry and gameplay. It's seamless. It's sublime to play. It's epic is a word that gets tossed around way too much. This game is the definition of epic. It's totally breathtaking. It's such an easy example, too, to pull out whenever somebody asks for an example of what a game that is instantly recognizable as a work of art, what something like that is. Shadow of the Colossus is that game. Shit, my bad. I'm gonna have to go back in and insert the cutscene because I accidentally skipped it. Ooh, doves! Can I get onto it? Can I? Oh, yes! Oh man, I bet you didn't know you could do this. You can actually jump on. Oh shit, he body slammed me. Yeah, you can totally catch a ride on the back of a dove. Let me find that son of a bitch. You slammed me into the ground just for taking a joyride. Yeah, you can jump on. I hit it. It's I spooked aggro. Oh. Oh man, I love that you could do that. So much detail. Yeah, I bet a lot of you didn't know that you could actually grab onto the birds. Not only can you grab onto birds, you can actually do the same thing with fish. In fact, there's another type of bird, I think it's an eagle, that when you're riding full speed, rides alongside you sometimes, and you can sometimes ride that eagle to boss areas. But, not seeing my good old friend the eagle yet. So we're gonna take roughly the same path, just veering a little bit off to the left. Oh, aggro just did what he wanted to do there. She, rather. I always forget aggro's a girl. And aggro can be a little hard to control sometimes. She can be a little ornery. And that is because sometimes she'll just ignore your commands, and that's actually totally by design. It's so aggro behaves a little bit more like a real horse and less like a vehicle. It was actually designed that way so that every so often, not constantly, but just enough so that you notice it. That one was my fault. She'll just do her own thing. Yeah, so now instead of heading down that path that took us to the beach and towards the Bull, we're instead going to come out here to this nice, new, open, desert-ish landscape, and we'll follow the path from the sword into a valley, where we climb our way up to the third Colossus, Gaius. Well, I'll let you see what he is, what he resembles, for yourself in just a second. God damn, this is such an amazing, varied game. I can't, like... I don't know if it's getting tired hearing me just heap praise on it, but I can't do anything but lavish this game with praise. It is remarkable. I'm eventually gonna run out of words for how good it is. And it's a game where you get a lot of this muted color palette, a lot of desolation, a lot of unease and dread, but at the same time there's so much beauty in this world too. Almost in equal measure. Get this great sense of foreboding that maybe going after all of these fairly neutral, almost docile colossi is maybe not the right thing to be doing morally, but Wander has his own goal in mind, and if you hold down the climb button, you'll swim underwater. You move a little bit faster while you're swimming underwater than while you're above it, and while you're underwater, your grip gauge will count as a breath gauge. I was gonna say, you know what else I love about this is it's one of those games that manages to perfectly blend realism to the point where it can actually immerse you with gameplay. And speaking of gameplay, this is a really tricky jump that I hate doing. Oh, I made that on the first try. If you fall into the water there, there is no surface tension in this game, apparently, so you won't take damage, but the swim back to that ramp takes about the same time to get back from where you fall down as it does to get there in the first place from where you jump off the horse. So it's a pretty long swim back. Yeah, it's a game that, like, you don't feel like, you know, they didn't have to go for realism in this one particular detail. You never feel like that to the point where they're sacrificing enjoyment too much. There is a balance there to where, like, yeah, sometimes it would be a little bit less frustrating if you weren't, like, just getting swung around and ragdolled. It would be easier on you, but it wouldn't feel as good in spite of that. It's kind of a good frustration to have. Also, this is Gaius the Knight, one of the larger Colossi, certainly the largest we have fought so far. This guy is fucking awesome, and I also kinda hate him at the same time sometimes. It entirely depends on whether or not he wants to behave for me right here. So far, he's not taking my bait too well. I think I have him pulled far enough away. So in the middle of this giant mushroom platform, we have this big stone circular platform. Can't think of another good word to describe it, unfortunately. We have a big circular stone in the middle of this arena. And the goal, you can see that Gaius has this big stone gauntlet on the same side he wields his enormous stone sword. That gauntlet prevents us, that bracer prevents us from climbing up his arm towards his weak points. So, our first order of business is breaking that enormous stone bracer. And in order to do that... Oh shit, he's already getting his swing ready. I might not dodge this. Oh no, that went perfectly actually. So the trick to breaking that bracer is getting his sword to collide with the stone there. That will crack the bracer off, and now all we have to do is bait one more of these horrific, scary-looking swings out. Oh, yeah! Took just a tiny bit of damage from the shockwave, and run up the sword! Oh god, this is so good! It wouldn't feel... like, you wouldn't feel as satisfied, you wouldn't feel as awe-inspired. This wouldn't be as exciting if you didn't have that little tinge of realism, if Wander didn't feel like he behaved and moved about like a character would, and instead of a real person. Like, if it was that easy to cling on and not tumble around, this wouldn't be nearly as exciting. It's so easy to get immersed in this, though. Now, I heap all that praise upon the physics of this, the way Wander behaves, how he moves, how the Colossi move, and how Wander reacts to those movements. All of these little details, but the stomach of this Colossi always pisses me off. Just trying to find one good little opening to attack this weak point. Again, one of 2 weak points on this boss in normal mode. So, that's a pretty good opportunity to get a short little stab in while he's wiggling around and twerking and trying to just shake off the damage a little bit. I keep just barely not having time to prime an attack up. So let me crouch down here, recover my gauge, and try this again. So the thing is, you need both hands gripping the Colossi for just a moment before you can actually prime a stab up. And if you try to go too early, I'm realizing now, you will not get the opportunity to actually take a swing. This might be why I've had such a frustrating time with certain Colossi in my past playthroughs. This might be something that I'm only now catching on to. If you try too hard to mash the attack out, there we go, you'll never get the opportunity because you'll never recover in time. You'll never stabilize yourself by gripping on. It's a little bit hard to explain exactly what I'm talking about, but you need to just take a second to get both hands on the Colossi before you go for an attack. I think it has something to do with taking a moment to stabilize yourself. Like right there, I tried to prime it again. I'm getting a little bit over eager here. You need a second to grip the Colossi and get a good grip before you can actually start charging that attack. Now that I'm aware of that, this should go smoother. Some Colossi have taken me a very long time in the past. And I used to think it was just randomness, but now I'm realizing it's because I'm maybe trying to mash the attack out a little bit too hard. Alright, so Gaius has a little bit of health left to go on his stomach weak point. I believe you can go for either weak point. Same for the previous Colossus we fought, the Bull. You can go for either weak point at any time you want, but it's just way easier to start here with the stomach. I could be wrong about Gaius, actually. I've never gone for the head first. With the Bull, you can definitely go for head or butt weakness first. Butt weakness? Jesus Christ. Yeah. Let's go ahead and finish this off. Sometimes Gaius just doesn't like giving me the opportunity to finish him. And sometimes it's just hard to get a nice, long charge up in, so you wind up doing less damage per stab. I'll jump right back onto his arm. Hopefully, if I can make this climb quickly enough, I won't have to take a rest on this platform. Yeah, if I can get up the arm right here, I can rest where the broken bracer is, or, yeah, oh, shit. This isn't good. Yeah, I'm winding up having to circle the arm anyway. This is traditionally the Colossus that takes me probably the longest time. Proportionate to the relatively low difficulty. Sometimes I will make a fight look much harder than it actually is. Either way, he hasn't shaken me off him yet. I don't think that's gonna happen. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Come on. Up there, up there. Before the grip gauge runs out, thank you. Alright, now we just have the top of his skull to get on up to. We'll cling to that and check out this fucking view. Oh, man. Oh, God, I love this. Thank you so much for picking this game, Robert, again. Yeah. And this one is providing a much better example of what I was talking about. His eyes change color as you stab him, as he aggressively and desperately tries to get you off of him. It's weird to say, but this towering 70-foot Colossus with a stone sword who started this fight off attacking us so aggressively is really just fighting for his own survival. This isn't even a matter of him trying to kill us at this point, it's just him trying to live as we go after him. And that is 3 Colossi down out of 16. I always love this incredible pan out. It gives you the full view. You can even see shockwaves as he hits the ground. Gives you a real sense of his weight and his height. Again, there's just so much attention to detail put into this. And if you altered one little detail, the game would be all the weaker for it. Such a perfect blend of gameplay and realism and craft and artistry. But that's gonna be it for Gaius the Knight. And with Gaius down, that is also going to be the end of the episode. So thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one. See you next time.